This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and it's live.
3 little words. No, 4 little words. I am drinking gin. 4 little words. I told you so. Look at that. Read it and weep. Chris, Leicester Till I Die, predicts 2-1 to Leicester City. Tell you what, get me lottery ticket tomorrow. I seriously am. Just trust me. That's all I'm going to say, guys. Trust me. Have I ever let you down? Have I ever let you down? Don't answer that one. But I think I've gone there. I'm back. I'm just updating my camera. Unbelievable. Caglar Soyuncu did an Eden Hazard for Manchester City. More importantly, I can say, I'll have whatever she's having, please.
Yes! Oh, God. Oh, I'll have what she's having.
Every time. I always look on the menu. 2-1. Oh, God. I'm excited. I am excited. Talk about a match of two halves, though. Was it not a match of two halves? I thought it was. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. How the devil are you? I hope this is working okay. I'm not sure if the camera is working or not. I think Brad will probably tell me when he comes on. YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. Give us a subscribe, please. Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group. And if you are on the Twitter sphere, at Leicester TID. Right, let's have a look what some of you have been saying, shall we? Miss Melina, good evening. I hope you and your dad are both well and enjoying Canada. Big win for the Foxes tonight. It was just what we need. After Friday night, that was what was needed. Wasn't sure in that first half, though. I mean, to say they'd made 10 changes. Thank you, Man United. I think it was pretty obvious where you wanted the trophy, the fourth place to go to. But we were struggling. Stephen, now you've got me worried, Stephen. And remember, we do have somebody religious coming on at the moment. Apparently, I can put my nurse's uniform away. You promised me that you would burn those pictures, Stephen. You promised me. You've let me down. And well, I may have just mentioned this, but yes, I did call the result. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. My voice is going. And as I said to Melina, not quite guaranteed, but yes, we are Champions League. Say we are Champions League. TM. Let's have a look here. Well done, guys. Thank you very much on behalf of Leicester. Great prediction. Of course it was. And what a great result. You doubt me. Brookline, gin time in England, still at work in the USA, mate. I don't know what you're doing. You should have had the day off. Matthew Bond. Well, what a tonic. About the tonic, I would have had the gin to go with it, but yes, I know what you mean. We needed that, didn't we? We so needed that after the Newcastle, not just the result, but the performance as well. Leicester looked a lot tighter outfit and deserved to win. Thank you. We did in the second half. I thought we played a lot better in the second half in the first. And Simon, good evening, Simon. How the devil are you, sir? Great prediction, Chris, and what a great game. Hey, you noticed I got it right, did you? I mean, I kept it quiet, but you may have noticed I kept it right. Do me a favour, if you're tuning in for the first time, you like what you're seeing, bottom right-hand corner, down there somewhere, that's it there. Just follow the arrow, press the subscribe button, and we would love you forevermore. Right, I think it's time now to get he who should be prayed to in. He's might be a bit old now. He's 2021 years old, but he's looking good for his age. Maybe it's just the result. Let's bring Brad in. Bradders, good evening.
Good evening, Chris. Wednesday nights under the lights. I'm looking forward to being able to go back to that stadium now, because that for me just feels right, doesn't it? It feels like that's the game that everybody after that Newcastle game was saying they're going to bottle it, they're going to lose, they're going to struggle, and we win today. I just feel so much better after that. It's such a good win.
You called it in the pre-match. I mean, okay, I may have mentioned that I got the score right. I don't know if I have, but guess what, guys? I predicted 2-1 to Leicester. Just I'd mention that for the 10th. I did. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I did, but I don't do Silla very well. Even Silla dead, I don't do very well. But no, you called it beforehand that we produced a couple of poor performances. Honestly, I can't even speak. We do produce a. I'm ready to put my other set of teeth in. We do produce some poor performances, and then we'll produce one totally out of left field, a great performance. And all right, the first half wasn't brilliant, and I looked at that and thinking, and Larry's going to argue with me here, it was a second, wasn't necessarily a weakened side, but it was a second string Man United side, and we were struggling with what was, I would say, one of our strongest teams. That we haven't got half a side. I know Larry said we've got half a side out injured. We'd got 2 players out injured, but we were struggling. I said at halftime, "Is this the biggest 45 minutes of the season?" And the guys came out and did that. Brendan, master manager, isn't he? But you did call it.
Yeah, it's been something that, when things haven't gone our way, we as a collective on here and yourself have kind of reminded a lot of people that, we do have a very good habit this season of bouncing back very strong. You know what? I'm amazed people know that, mate, because it's not like you to gloat when you get the score right. So I'm very well done to these people that know these things. They must be following our Instagram and other social networks that we're on. Can I just say
that, and I'll let you come back in a second, but as soon as you mentioned me getting the score right, Steve Walsh actually is second in the league to me, and I have sent him a message already. So, not that I'm gloating at all, but do carry on.
Yeah, and you were right. I mean, I actually did say to you at half time, didn't I, Chris, that it seemed like a game where the effort and everything that we asked for and respected was there, but it was more from a force of nervous energy. When we got the goal, we were looking good, we was in control, and it was expectant. But I tell you this now, anyone that comes out and tries to be sour grapes saying, "Well, you beat a team completely changed from United," Marouane Fellaini's played for United. They've had worse 11s than that one. And we haven't won at Old Trafford in 23 years until tonight. I don't care. I do not care. So if you're going to come on here...
28 years, I think. It might even be longer.
Oh, I don't know. Well, no, 98, wasn't it, Old Trafford? Tony Costi. I got that right in the pre-match. So
Yes, yep, you're right.
Jack, that's an old mate of mine, Jack, with his next muffin. He gets that. I understand that. That's a little private little joke that's been going for years with me.
What you doing with your muffins? You know, we don't want to know about. We don't want to know about it. But Larry says there, Brad, we don't want to hear about weak Man United side. I don't think they were particularly that weak. The main problem, and I think I messaged you this before after we finished the pre-match, but there was the fact that whilst it wasn't necessarily a weak side, because some of those players we'd have loved to have had, you know, it was the fact that there were 10 players that hadn't played together.
No, and that was noted on BT. I noticed Rio really jumped on that board when Robbie Savage said that Leicester would still be happy with a point. He was quick to go, well, it's 11 individuals thrown together. Well, there are 11 professional players, mate. They're on 100 plus on a week. They should know how to play football. No excuses. Manchester United have done this before and got the result. I don't care. I really don't care. If any Man United fan wants to come on here and say you beat a B team, good on us. We beat your B team. That's helped him. I don't care.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is it. Players should be able to go out and, you know, perform. The professional footballers, like you say, they train all week. You know, we don't have reserves anymore, which I think is stupid. I think we should have reserves for those players that aren't quite making the first team week in, week out. But it's the fact that they're not used to each other.
No, that's granted, but again, there's still some players out there that have played parts in the season and linked up. So, and like I said, Manchester United have done this before and got a result against other teams, and they've fielded worst 11s against us, and we've not managed to come away with any positive result against Man U. So, stuffs them, because I would argue back. I'll counter this argument back to them. You could say that Leicester started with their weaker 11. And it wasn't until Manchester United put on the big guns. See, that was Brendan's tactics. He could see Ollie getting nervous, and he knows you're more susceptible to concede from a corner and you make substitutions. So he threw Maddison on, made them rush their subs, and it worked perfectly because Rashford was marking Soyuncu, or wasn't marking Soyuncu, should I say, for the goal. And you know what? Soyuncu, I feel happy for Soyuncu because he needed that, because he got and rightfully so. He got stick, didn't he? Yeah, he got stick. He was rightfully given the boot, not just by fans, but Rodgers, with that Cruyff turn comment. Didn't see any of that today. Washed it out of the systems. And, you know, maybe Maddison should spit in Rodgers' face more often if that's the response you're going to get from the players.
I think that was made up. I think looking at the way they were into it, I think if he had done that, I don't think he'd have been on the coach again.
No.
TM, and thanks for asking. Thank you for asking. As it happened, I predicted Man United 1, Leicester 2. But if anybody ever just wants to double check that, join the chat. Feel free. Brad, Jack, what team does he support?
He's a Man United fan, so
is he?
As a mate,
you're a Man United fan, Jack. Well, what can I say? How are you doing in the FA Cup? Oh, God, we knocked you out of that, didn't we? Who won the league title today? Man City, because we beat you. Sorry, Jack, but, what can I say?
He's a good lad, though.
It's football banter. It's football banter. I bet he's not even from Manchester, is he?
He lives where I live. That's where I met him.
Matthew going into a cup final on the back of that. Again, that's the good thing, isn't it? The fact that the performance was pleasing. I was disappointed with the first half. I'm not going to lie. Maybe I expected too much. We got quite excited in the pre-match show when we looked at that, starting lineup. But I think I posted. We brought Maddison on. They brought Cavani and Rashford. And we still beat them.
Yeah, and this is one made for the statos down there. I'm pretty sure that's the first time, maybe even since we beat Manchester United at home, that we have gone the season without losing to Manchester United. That's 3 games against Manchester United this season, 1 draw and 2 wins.
Yeah,
that's something that's very pleasing for the season as well, because we've got a decent record which is where normally Leicester tend to fail, isn't it? You tend to find Leicester in this position, and the reason they're struggling to hold on or not quite get up higher in the league, you know, when we was about 7th or 8th and looking at our first couple of attempts, when we had the likes of Powell and that in charge, we were losing. Yeah, well, but we were we did not have a very good points record against these sides, and it's pleasing to see this season that we've managed to fix that. I can't remember the last time we went undefeated against Manchester United, like I said.
No. I put here, just carrying on this, but at 1-1, I put here, at 1-1, we're struggling to go ahead, even when the other team want us to win. But what I liked about what I liked about the performance was that, I think Stephen mentioned it there. I think it was Stephen somebody mentioned this, but it was 4-4-2 because we were trying to work out the formation.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said.
When we were holding back, when we were defending, when Man United had the ball, we were 4-4-2. When we had the ball and we were moving forward, we went to the 3-5-2. It was very fluid, and I think Brendan's done a good job getting our team to do that.
Yeah, it's nice. I think the thing we spoke about like after the Newcastle result was it would be typical of Leicester to go out against Man United and win this game. Don't worry, praise be with you. You're fine. You're safe. You don't need to praise to Jesus. I'm right here.
Just reading the comment there.
When Jesus is happy, all is good. Very true, mate. Bless you. Don't worry. You're fine. But yeah, I mean, you're right, obviously, about the first half. It wasn't glittered with too much, apart from the goal. The goal was you could have played that over and over again for the first half highlights and talking points, because for a left back, that's some hit. And the fact that, you know, there was trust there, because sometimes you see a chance like that where the striker could probably get there, or he could run back and get it and knock it in. He's obviously heard something from Thomas, trusted him to connect with it, got out his way, and what a occasion to get your first Leicester goal in the league.
Yes. I mean, he scored in Europe. He scored in the Premier League now. Yeah, he's had a couple of iffy games, but let's be honest with you, he's new, he's young.
He's 19. He's 19. He's had a quality season for a 19-year-old.
Exactly. You know, and all this. Well, if you're good, you know, if you're good enough, it doesn't matter how old you are. That's very true. But it was an amazing goal. I had the BT I had on, it had crowd noise, so I didn't hear whether there was a shout or not. But my God, I mean, we used to say, and as much as people hate Chilwell, we used to say sometimes sort of, you know, he wasn't the crowd's favourite. I liked him. I mean, he was England's left back. There was no reason for us not to like him. But, you know, fans didn't take to him. But he had a good foot on him sometimes. But he would have been proud of that one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. In fact, a lot of Leicester, any left backs around the country would have been proud to hit that one. He would have really liked that one. You know, in fact, there's a lot of strikers that would have been impressed to have hit that as well as he did. I mean, it was a cracking finish. I think he even side-footed it, isn't it? You know, you normally expect a defender, they lash one and it kind of scoos off the outside of the boot and somehow ends up in the top corner. But he side-foots it, and the placement he got was absolutely brilliant to him. And like they said on the stream I was looking on, he'll frame that. He'll frame that highlight. He'll put that on the cabinet. Yeah. He'll still have more in his trophy cabinet than Tottenham, but you know, I'm allowed that dig now. Because
that is very true. Philip, if we win the FA Cup, asks if I will do the I'm not sure what you mean there. I have actually said that if we win the FA Cup, I will dye my pubic hair blue, only because I know there's no way you will ever actually know whether I have or not, you know. Miss Melina, welcome back. Great win. It was an amazing win, I'll tell you. I'm going to go off and watch the highlights and have it on repeat, you know. Wolf was a monster tonight, says Larry. Good to see him back on track. He had a hell of a lot better game than he did against Newcastle. Mel, congratulations on the Champions League. I don't think it's guaranteed yet, but I feel a lot more...
Sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. The difference in points. I mean, Manchester United have played this perfectly the way they want to. All they've got to do now is look up to their end of the bargain, and it's done. There's no way we're dropping out of top 4 with like a 7 or 8 point lead or whatever it is.
You would hope not, but we are Leicester City. Remember that. Miss
That's because it's my
Molina.
favourite drink.
Yeah, Miss Molina's looking at your Jack Daniels, and I love the fact. I mean, she actually recognises it. Miss Molina is in a very much. I won't give her age away, but she's in her early 20s. But she actually looks about 12. When I first started talking to her, she was talking drinks. I thought, yeah, you shouldn't be drinking.
Chris, you're supposed to compliment a woman's age by getting it roughly slightly lower, not that.
No, isn't anything I haven't said to her. No. Brookline, we need 4 more points in case Liverpool win their last 4 fixtures. It all depends if Man United's plan goes to plan, basically. They beat us, they'll lose to us, and they'll beat Liverpool. Let's hope it is. I love this, Mel. I hope Loserpool don't. Love that. That's good. Loserpool. David, to be honest, Perez was pretty useless in the first 60 minutes he was in. Didn't do much of anything. He's never impressed me, unfortunately. I'm glad you said that, David, because I've written down here. Where am I? I can't find it now. But basically, Perez wasn't really in it. Whether it's because I'm listening as well as sort of updating things on the computer, but I didn't hear him mention an awful lot. I don't know if you did, Brad.
No, I didn't. In fact, I can't remember a time from probably the 35th minute until his name came up on the board that he was still on the pitch. He really wasn't involved. I think it's fair to say.
Didn't have his best game either, did he?
No, but he did work well and hard on that side. He was more in a natural role this time than anything. He was. I know he went to a wing back role to support. With Thomas and that, but he was in a more natural feel to it. And I believe Albrighton played his 250th game for us today. So well done, Mark Albrighton. Not bad from someone who wasn't wanted from Villa. They must be kicking themselves.
Yeah. I just don't think it was his best game.
No, it wasn't. He didn't do anything that stood out. You're right. He didn't do anything that stood out, but he didn't do anything wrong like he did.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, Schmeichel, it was his 112th game. Philip just confirming it. Chris, if we win the FA Cup, will you show some daring do by George? Oh gosh, daring do by doing the post-match show in pants. Can I just say, I'm actually doing this show in pants, but there we go. You wouldn't know, would you? And what Brad's got on in the lower half, we just won't go there at all. But pink's a nice colour, Brad. I'm joking, of course. Perez brings a high defensive work rate. Man United do not attack through the middle. Maddison was too weak defensively to start versus Chelsea. Maddison has been playing better, as Bookline said there, when he's been coming on rather than when he's been starting.
Yeah, it seems to flip between them, doesn't it? A couple of weeks you're thinking, Perez has been coming off the bench doing well and needs to start, and then he has an all right couple of games and then he dies off, and then Maddison impresses off the bench and you say Maddison needs to start. It's frustrating, but it's not a headache that Brendan's going to mind having, that he's got 2 players that he can rotate out in the starting 11, and it's one of them. Again, I think the FA Cup, now we can fully focus on that. It's going to be one of them, isn't it? Does Brendan go?
Sorry, it's making me smile just talking about it.
Yeah, I know it's still not real, is it? In a sense, I know it is, but it's not real until that day happens. But now, like the biggest headache in that regards, Brendan's got is: do I start Maddison and bring Perez on, or are you more inclined to start Perez? And if it's stalemate, put Maddison on. Which one's going to impact the game more for the right way? We'll find out on the 15th. Right now, I'm just enjoying the fact that we've all but nailed Champions League spot.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be right back after this.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice
For everything Leicester City.
Tune in and join in now.
I mean, I would like to actually bring a word in from one of our American friends. He actually sort of posted me, well, sent post, we don't post it, they emailed me a comment here. So I just want to bring this up because it was very nice to get this from him. And I have to say, There's not a lot I agreed with him, but yes, stop the league now. Stop the league now. Yes, can we do that? We should start that up, you know. I tell you what.
Comments.
I don't waste my life, you know. Can I just say, doing all these things? Don't waste my life at all. I would imagine David Moyes is absolutely tearing his wallpaper off his walls as we speak, because he wasn't happy on the fact that the FA or the Premier League, had scheduled, you know, Man United to play us and Liverpool, because this was his first, you know, David Moyes' fair, and we did it. But let's be honest with you, who gives a shit, really?
I don't know. I don't give a rat's backside, you know, about what other managers think of their fixture. So what? It's not our issue. They've got to deal with it. At the end of the day, we have still, you know, we've just come off before the Newcastle game. You know, we played 3 games in 7 days. You know, we're going to do. We played Friday night, we've played tonight, and then we'll play again Saturday. So everybody's just been as busy. We've had the same problem all season. It's nothing new. At the end of the day, I think it's been warranted that we had a bit of a break. We've earned a bit of a longer break than 3 days. So stuff to Moyes and his sour grapes. We won. You're not in Champions League spots. How about you try joining us instead of being sour at us for doing our job?
Yeah, I mean, no, totally. I mean, you know, we played was it a Palace side that hadn't played in 10 days, and we'd played 2 games in a week or something, you know. But I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that first bit. But Bob, you're welcome here from the Spurs zone. This is a Leicester City chat, but you're most welcome. We talk a bit here about winning. I know this is something that, you know,
alien to Spurs.
It is alien to Spurs. It's, you know, spelled WINNING. You know what? It's so easy to be cocky when you win, isn't it? You know,
it is.
You know. Can I just, Brad? Question for you: what was the score tonight?
I believe you might have got the score right, Chris. I think we won 2-1, and I think you predicted 2-1. What he doesn't tell you, folks, is he writes these all down, and he really had Man U to win 2-1, and he switched it, but he's done that on purpose. They all went 3-1. They went 3-0, 3-1, thinking he was going to write them down as Leicester being the home side, and he does this. He's crafty, is Chris.
You can check it on the website. It's live on the website as we speak. I actually had a bit of a dig at Soyuncu because I didn't think he made much of a challenge in trying to stop Greenwood going through for the goal. But let's be honest with you, all is forgiven. I mean, Soyuncu scored his first league goal, I think, for Leicester City. We scored from a corner.
You know what? It's funny because for me, Soyuncu, yes, he didn't cover himself in glory by going out to him, but a few times he would have maybe gone in with that foot, stepped on Greenwood's toe and gave away a penalty anyway, and it could have been worse for us. It's taken nothing away from Greenwood's finish. You know, we didn't deal with the ball down the right properly. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like you said, all is forgiven. You know, he got us over the line. He got the goal. He was the Hazard of Leicester for Man City tonight.
Bless you.
And excuse me. And at the end of the day, I tell you what, if he does exactly the same on the 15th, I don't care either if he had a jittery first half. No.
Again, we won't, will we? Simpy, good evening. Welcome along again. Melina's in, your fellow Arsenal fan. Melina is our number 1 Arsenal fan because she very nearly came over to be a Leicester fan, but you can be our second favourite Arsenal fan. But we do need you to beat Chelsea tomorrow night. So come on, get your act together, Arsenal. I actually got invited on an Arsenal chat earlier if I'd go on tonight. I think he hadn't realised that Leicester were playing, to discuss Brendan Rodgers because he thinks that they might be in with a chance of getting Brendan Rodgers as a manager.
Wait, is there a portal to an alternate universe where I'm seeing something different? Because there's no.
I don't know. But hang on one. Shh. Did you hear that pin drop?
Yeah. The odds on that are no. I thought Spurs going in for him was laughable, but Brendan Rodgers going to Arsenal, no. Just no.
No. We'll take that. We'll take that as a no, Brad.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell what my opinions are a no on that one.
Yeah. almost as well disguised as my score predictions.
Yes, very.
Exactly. Perez doesn't have enough magic for me. Madison at his best does. Yes, he does, but he hasn't been at his best for quite a few games now. Perez may do more defensively in terms of work rate. To be honest with you, I've been supportive of Perez at the start. I've been critical of Perez for sort of middle bit of the season up until recently. Tonight, I don't care. It was a great performance and we won. You know what I mean? It was.
Yeah. It's definitely been one of them, isn't it? I think it's just such. I think because of the situation that we're in and the amount of pressure and pot stirring the media were doing, to win tonight has just made everything just disappear that was negative or concerning about Leicester's position in the top four. And yes, obviously, mathematically, it's not done. But I tell you what, if we don't get top four in the position we're in now, then we should write a letter and say we don't deserve to play in Europe, full stop. Because that if Man U do their job, that's Liverpool out of it. They're not catching us, because, well, there'll be 3 games that they'd have to do it in a goal swing and we'd have to lose or not gain a point from our last 2 games. I just don't see it.
That's looking good there, isn't it?
Very good.
That's where it stands at the moment. And I know Chelsea have got a game in hand on us, obviously. West Ham have, Liverpool have got 2. But, I sooner have the points on the board than the games in hand. And, we are now 8 points ahead of West Ham, 9 ahead of Liverpool. And I believe there's some team underneath Liverpool. I don't even know who they are, but I've got such a big smile on my face. Melina said the other day after the Newcastle game, she was messaging me saying, like, are you all right? Because you seem a bit down. I went, well, after that performance, wouldn't you be? And I think tonight I'm completely the opposite.
Yeah, it is. We like the cliche that a week's a long time in football, and it just proves that. And it just looks. It obviously
even 4 days, mate.
Yeah, 4 days in this case. Yeah, 4 days in this case, and it just looks better, doesn't it? It feels healthier, and it just got, like you said, a complete flip on its head from how we was all feeling after Friday night. Yeah. I think in a way that first half performance showed how the players were feeling about this game. They were so determined, maybe to put it right, that when Greenwood got them level, the nerves kicked in because they're like, no, we can't lose this game. We can't lose this game. And whilst Manchester United didn't really trouble us too much after that goal, there's always that mark in the back of your head, isn't there, going, but if they have one and score it, and luckily we were the one that did it. We put the ball in the net, and that's what matters.
I know what you're saying there, Jason. The problem with channels like this, and these channels are sort of springing up, over the last 5 or so years since Arsenal started doing it. There's more now per team than 5 years ago per the whole football pyramid. It's something we talk about. So sometimes we aren't overcritical, but we're fans. And we're only saying, I believe, what we would normally be saying if we were sat in the terraces.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I have been very strong on the point that I'm not a fan of Perez. He's not done anything for me of too much notes. Yes, he's had good games, and when he's had good games, I've been sat here going, he had a good game today. Yeah. But one game doesn't change an opinion, and when you're doing that one game, if 1 or 2 games here or there is met by average to below average performances for the rest of them, I'm not going to change my opinion. I think he's a good rotational player, and I think that's what sometimes you get a player that, unfortunately, that's the role they get acquired to. Do you remember Xavier Hernandez? You know, speaking of United players, super sub, wasn't he, for them?
Yeah.
They always used to put him on and never rarely started. And when he did, he couldn't find the net. And I just think if Perez is going to be a Leicester player for the foreseeable future, that's his role. And I think that's how it's worked.
And I think, in fairness, we played Newcastle last week, and we had a couple of well, I went on a couple of Newcastle fans. I'm not sure if you did, Brad. I spoke to Newcastle people, but
No.
I was offering them because I said, "Come on, you're down the bottom of the league. There, we'll give you Perez back. We'll help you out." And the Newcastle fans, actually, as bad as they are this season, didn't want him back. Now, like I say, you know, we've stood up and said when he's played well, he's played well. But I don't think he's anything more than a squad player for me.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I understand that he's had good games. And I know sometimes, even when he has a decent game, people just want to hit, you know, take a swing at him for taking a swing at him. And I don't like it when players do that. And like I've always said, when he's wearing a Leicester shirt, and as long as he continues to wear a Leicester shirt, I want him to play well, and I want him to prove me wrong and change my opinion on him. I really do. I'm never going to sit here and just say, you know, Perez scored a hat-trick and assist one and go, oh, it's still shit. I'm going to say he had a good game. I'm going to praise him to the hills for that.
Jason, you didn't come across bad at all. No, it is all about opinions. And to be honest with you, quite often, and Brad will hopefully nod his head and agree with me here, for me personally, I will say things to get a reaction because I want people to comment on it. And as the host, if you like, and Brad's like the expert, you know, I'm saying things to get, you know, if Brad agreed with everything I said, I'd be saying, well, what do you think of this, Brad? Yes. What do you think of this, Brad? Yes. You know, it would be a very, very, very short show. And it's the same whether, you know, when you host Facebook groups and you put things in to get people to comment. Radio presenters, everybody says all talk sport presenters, and you know, but they say things to get you to ring up because that's their job, you know. And we've been critical of Nacho Man, haven't we? But we've also eaten a lot of humble pie, which is why I'm the fat bugger that I am. I have eaten all the pies, and most of it has been humble these last 8 weeks because we've given him praise when he deserves praise, and you know we've criticised him when he wasn't doing what he was doing. Albeit, I think with Nacho, we were saying he wasn't getting sort of the regular time. But fans will always, I didn't think Chilwell was a bad player, but he was almost hounded out the club. But that is fans. We're all fans and we've all got different opinions. But like I say, me and Brad sort of generally say things that will just get people, you know, to comment. That's what we want you to do, basically. Run for the hills, everybody, because my daughter's here. And good evening, Heather. Oh, she was here. She's gone again now. I don't know if that came up again, but good evening, Heather. How are you? Get round and cook me a meal. It's been a long time. I've been waiting. Bookline saying here, Brad, back three in the cup final, including a Marty.
No. If it's not with a fully fit Evans, I don't want a back three. I think that's been glaringly obvious because every time it's not been them three, we've struggled, or we've struggled and lost. I don't want a back three. If it's not Evans, Soyuncu, and Fofana, I do not want us in a back three. In fact, I'd be happy for us to play Chelsea exactly like we did today when we've not got the ball, a back four. Yeah. When we're on the attack, we open up that midfield. Very happy with the way we tried to do things today, and it showed in the second half. It paid its persistence.
Yeah. Heather, by the way, if you get to speak to Uncle Mannix before the end of the show or you text him in my cart, please just give him a great big... He's a Man United fan, by the way. And, I should explain that. I don't hate my brother-in-law, but he is a Man United fan. Heather says here, poor Chilwell. Yes. It's football, Heather. It's football.
I mean, how's Chilwell going to feel if Leicester beat him in the FA Cup and he sees a 19-year-old replacement Thomas lifting that FA Cup? Do you think that's going to leave a bit of a bitter taste in his mouth that maybe he should have stuck around? Because I can say this now because I don't work for the club, but he was one that didn't do himself any favours with his attitude. That's what I'll say with Chilwell on that one. I think there's a lot of Leicester fans and maybe a few at the club that saw him around on the ground that will be hoping they beat him just so they can say, should have stayed and known your place a little bit and developed a bit longer here.
I mean, personally,
Hi,
I hope
Scott.
he does. I hope he does sit there and think that. But then again, I guess over a longer period drawn out, you've got to probably think that Chelsea will do more than us, purely because of the money. But
yeah, of course you expect them to. It's like Maguire at Manchester United, isn't it? You'd expect them.
Yeah. Scott, good evening. Are we happy, Brad? He's saying he imagines we're happy.
I'm fuming.
Scott, you've only just come in, so I should tell you this, Scott, that I predicted 2-1 to Leicester. I just thought I'd mention that because you were late. For any latecomers, Melina, apparently Palace have missed the penalty. Melina, you were asking about my children the other day. One of them's in now. Say hello to her. Don't be rude. Say hello to Heather, Melina. Melina, say hello to Heather. Heather, say hello to Melina. Ethan 9, Newcastle fan. Congratulations. Thanks very much, mate. We so needed. Where was that Leicester when we played you? That's what I want to know. The only satisfying thing I'm actually going to get from the fact that you stuffed us 4-2 was that it meant that you stayed in the Premier League this season. That means you might have Steve Bruce for another for another season. So, hey, what can I say? Scott's got a question for us. Oh, it's so easy to be like this when you come off the back of a win like this, isn't it? Who starts, Perez or Maddison on Saturday? And I'm going to answer this first because I'm going to surprise you here because I'm going to actually say Perez.
No, I'm going to probably surprise you then with my response of saying I actually agree with you. I think the comment that Perez does do the defensive work, which I will give credit for. He does get back. I mean, he finds a spectacular way to lose it when he gets 10 yards forward, but he does do the defensive draft. He did make some good interceptions today. And I think for the first half, it's an FA Cup final. Both teams really want to win it. It's, Chelsea would like to potentially put themselves on the way to a double. Leicester would like to finally win the FA Cup. I think it's going to be a cagey first 45, 60 minutes. And I think, like today, Rodgers would rather be able to throw Maddison on to try and open up the deadlock in that game than have to take him off and put Perez on in search for a winner over the 90 minutes.
The question is that who is more likely to change the game when they come on?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I think Maddison will do that. Yeah, and we've seen that Maddison. Oh, I got like the second coming there. It's been a few years. I'm not going to lie, but I'll tell you what.
Well, I don't say anything.
And I can say that because I know it's the same for you. But all joking aside, I mean, I'm not saying Perez had a bad game because quite often you don't hear a player being mentioned. It doesn't mean they're having a bad game. They're just
Wilfred Indeed is one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but I can say I can't see Perez coming on and changing the game, but I can see and Maddison seems to have played better lately when he's actually come on as a sub.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, it seems that Brendan's got a little bit of a blissful headache in the fact that if one of them's not really up to the start, that he can rotate for the next game and give the other one the start for a few games. And it seems to be working like he's got a perfect balance to the change in that midfield. And look, I think he will start with Perez, and then I would imagine that when we go there to parade our FA Cup in front of him in the league game, he will probably switch that and start with Maddison and bring Perez on to kind of do it. That's just football. It's a great headache to have. Ask any manager. The one headache they don't want is injury-ridden team. They want to have a headache where they're going, "Ooh, do I start with Perez and we play this way, or do I start with Maddison and we play that way? Do I go with Vardy? Do I go that?" It's a good headache to have. Any manager would prefer that over not knowing if he's going to have a centre back or a midfield to pick from with injuries. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Scott, I didn't realise you'd actually gone 6-2 to United. My God, man, what are you doing? I mean, you're a Leicester fan. Come on. I mean, that was what. I mean, I'll have to show you what the players predicted here. I mean, the worst that the players went for was a 3-1. Oh, it's got my 2-1 on there as well. Oh, who knew that? I'm milking this.
Honestly, folks, he's not normally this unsufferable when he gets a score right.
Not often I do. Although I am now actually, I think 9 points ahead of Steve Walsh in second place with 3 games left. I think the championship is mine. I mean, to be honest with you, we've just had an invite come through, and you'll probably have one later to go on Rich's show. And Rich is a Man United fan, and might have to ask each other during that show, just remind each other what the score was there,
Yeah. How many times has United beat us this season? That's what I'll be asking.
Hey, to be honest, we've beat them twice. They've beaten us once, so it's 2-1 to us, which is the score I predicted for this particular match and got it right.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we've beaten them twice and they've drawn with us. They haven't even beat us this season.
Yeah, I realised when I was saying that there was a little bit of a flaw in my argument.
To say that way, it didn't work for you that way.
But thanks for pissing on my party there, Brad.
That's all right, mate. I'm Jesus, mate. I'm always here to bring people down to earth. It's my job.
Indeed, it is. Anyway, Alan Bennett's man of the match and scores. We'll come on to that in a couple of seconds, and when we are back straight after this.
You are watching and listening to Chris
And Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube.
and your favourite podcasts.
That never works at my end properly, so I don't know whether it ever works at anybody else's end. It worked there, did it? Good. And can I just say, I hope you can hear me okay, because the other day, Craig on the preview show let me do the whole show using the wrong microphone, and it sounded like I was sat on the toilet for an hour and a half. That was tonight, actually, during the game.
Mate. You don't sound like you got your head in the bog.
No, it was, as I say, I was sat on it for 90 minutes during the game, just in case. Right, okay, so as we know, Alan Bennett does this for us straight after the game. He's gone his man of the match today, and let us know your thoughts on this, everybody that's watching. He's gone for Wesley Fofana as his man of the match. And I have to be honest with you, I think the scoreline dictated this maybe more than the performance. For me, Brendan got a 9, and I think he did get it right. He brought the subs on at the right time. You mentioned it earlier. It forced Man United to bring theirs on earlier than perhaps they'd planned. Not sure about 9 for the team, just for the fact that the first half wasn't as good. Possibly a 7 or an 8 for the team. But, again, hey, we've won 2-1. Who gives a damn, eh, Brad?
Yeah, I'm not going to begrudge him his ratings there. I think you're right. The result definitely helps the higher ratings, and Fofana was world class again. And I was like a manager / fan on the sidelines watching him. He cut out so many vital passes. He made so many interceptions. He was brilliant on the ball. He reads the game so well, and you forget he's still. This is his first season. He's kind of like, he reminds me of Kante in the fact that you couldn't remember. We got him from, not exactly nowhere in this case. Obviously, he was at St. Etienne with one of the most loved and profound ex-Leicester managers. No jokes there at all. I know, right? You wouldn't know, Simon. He's not been so modest about it all show. He's barely brought it up.
In fairness, though, St. Etienne aren't having a very good season now. I think they're actually in the bottom 5 over there in France.
Oh, wow. That says a lot. We all know what that football's like to watch when it goes badly for you and results start going. But Fofana's just phenomenal. I mean, you forget his age. I mean, I've said it before. The bloke's got a football head on him like a 30-year-old. And, you think of the price of players we've sold I have spoken to a few. You know, I was on the Manchester United chat last night. And yourself was on one as well. You know, Chris, and a
Yeah.
few United fans. We got posed a question: if you could kind of pinch somebody, you know, from the other team, who would you want? And we built a combined 11, and every single United fan said they would like Fofana in their back line and put him in their combined 11. You know, but the one good thing is they turned around and said, when it came to a question about strengthening the team, who would you rather have, this player or that? I think it was that Bakayru or whatever it is that we're supposed to be signing. You know, someone asked, who would you rather have, Ndidi or him? And they said, rather have Ndidi, but Leicester are not going to sell him cheap. And I think that's the same for Fofana. You know,
Yeah,
you know,
it was
anybody
the
that's
question
nervous
was
about the
asked
salary.
earlier, actually, and I'm just trying to find it now
Fofana's
about
worth
him because
100 million.
yeah, I mean this is what annoys me with fans is you know, they're immediately saying like, you know, if Leicester don't get top four, you're going to lose Farney, you're going to lose, you know, lose all these Ndidi and what have you. Well, we're not going to sell any of them cheap because we don't need to. You know, in the Premier League, there is so much money, and we've got rich owners on top of that money. We don't, you know, we don't need to sell Maguire if you come at us with 60 million. You know, we hold out for what we want, which is 80 million. So we will only sell if we need to sell. And so, and I don't think not getting Champions League, because I think a lot of players will look at that. And I know some players will go just for the money, but I think some players will look at it and go, well, okay, if I go to Man City, I'm going to spend a year or so, maybe, you know, like Mahrez at the start, he never started. Chilwell, when Tuchel first came over, was dropped. He never played. But if they stay with Leicester, yeah, they might not get Champions League this season, but it's the work in progress, isn't it?
Yeah, well, let's face it, that a few of these players have been here for a few seasons, and, you know, a few of them, you know, Tillmans was on loan originally, and he still signed, and we wasn't in Champions League football. Maddison's been here a couple of seasons now, hasn't experienced Champions League football, but they've brought into the project. It's something that Leicester fans have been adamantly standing by, and it's been spoken about by the players have echoed the same message when they've been in front of the media, that this is a very good project. They're happy to be here. They're happy to be a part of it. And whilst that's the case, you're very right, Chris. Unless someone's going to go and say, how much do you want for Fofana? Well, we want 120 million to pay it. I don't see one of these players going, because if that was the case, they would have gone last season. Maddison, Tielemans and that might have gone last season because they've gone, well, you said we're going to get this and we're not. Clearly, these players were signed knowing that you need to give this club a couple of years, but with you here, we can achieve these goals. And they've gone, all right, then I'm buying into it.
Yeah, I apologise to whoever it was that asked the question, because I can't just find it at the moment on the chat. If you want to repost it, but Sumarine or Sumari or whatever he's called, in that defensive midfielder, to me, well, we've got Ndidi, we've got Mendy, and I was surprised. I've got to be totally honest with you. I was surprised to see Chowdy come on over Mendy, but that's just my personal thoughts. And then we've got Chowdhury. If we sign him, I think not Ndidi, but I think one of the other two will be leaving.
Yeah, I think because Chowdhury can press a bit quicker than Mendy, that might have been the reason. I think the way the season's gone and the way they've played over the last season and a half, Mendy and Chowdhury, when they've played, Mendy very much sits in front of that back line and frees Ndidi up a bit. Whereas when Chowdhury comes on, it's Ndidi that sits in front of that back line, shores us up, and lets Chowdhury go and try and close them down at the halfway line, which is something he can do very good. You know, he was quite erratic in last season, but he did that job, and that's expected. And I think just given the situation, when Manchester United have got to come at you because they're losing a game in the latter stages, you have to really press them because they're going to leave gaps. And if Chowdhury nicked one in the middle of the park and played a through ball to Iheanacho or Vardy and we'd have scored again, you'd have been waxing lyrical about him being picked. And you know, we'll see in the summer. You're probably right. I don't see a need for 3 central defensive midfielders in this club, and it's no disrespect to them as professionals. They've all done a job when they've needed. More so, obviously, indeed, because he's the mainstay in the side.
Yeah.
But whilst I would be saddened to see them go, especially because Chowdhury's a development player and Mendy's really done well this season when he's been called upon. I just think sometimes you don't need that many players when it's only one position. We very rarely play 2 central defensive midfielders. If we play 2 central defensive midfielders, we need them, obviously, but we don't.
Yeah. Were you surprised with Chowdhury?
I
wasn't surprised with the move because he, tactically it was the correct. Brendan got it right. Tactically, that was spot on. I just surprised it was Chowdhury.
I think you are surprised by him coming on and being on the substitute bench, given what happened in January, the discussions that Southampton wanted him, and he wanted either guarantees of more first team football, and Brendan said, look, I can't give you that this season. It's just not viable with things that are going on, and the form of others. Unfortunately, you could have 3 great performing central defensive midfielders on the training pitch, and you could praise all 3 of them, but when you're only playing with 1 central defensive midfielder, you're always going to struggle to break into that side. You're relying on 2 players being not having a good run in the side and to get your opportunity. And it's testament to Chowdhury that he's obviously kept his levels up on the training ground. He's kept his professionalism after January, and he's earned that spell on the pitch today. And that gives you another dimension to look at going into the cup final, because now all of a sudden, yet again, a player that we thought was maybe never going to play for Leicester again this season has suddenly given a very dogged 20-30 minute performance that gives us another option to look at and go, all right, if needs be, if we need someone to come on and free up that midfield, Chowdhury is an option again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking even, and I want to move on to some other players in a second, but even because we've got more games coming up, as in we're going to have the Champions League, hopefully we're going to have FA, we're going to have four things. We obviously will need backup. And if we do sign that new player, and he is supposed to be really, really good, I think we might see them both leave. I think Chowdhury is definitely on the way out. Finally, Heather, you followed my instructions well. I'm saying, say a hi back. Children listen to their dad. Who knew? Even though you did get it wrong, Melinda. Who's Melinda? But she did. She has corrected it. We don't need, I don't think, to buy many players. I mean, when you look at the young players, and you touched on it with Fofana, he was young. He was bought in for, not intending to play probably hardly at all this season. James Justin, pretty much the same. And then you've got the likes of Luke Thomas. And then we've got players that are out on loan like Dewsbury Hall. It's great because I don't think, like I've said many times, we're going to have a lot of money to spend because of the COVID, and we've not got a Middle East sheikh that owns the club. We've got a very rich businessman, but it is business, and his business has been completely destroyed with the COVID. But these youngsters coming through, it's like I'm rubbing my hands thinking, if we can keep hold of these, we're set for like next 6 to 7 years.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that a club has one eye on, and as fans, it's always nice to see. It's always nice to see when you've got these youngsters. You look at other clubs that have developed very good youngsters, and you would argue, and probably be right in arguing, saying have a better youth system development rate than Leicester because they bring through 7 or 8 players. But what Leicester do very good is they bring these players in, and you see a lot of them make it into the first team, whereas Chelsea are like Manchester United with their talented youth players.
Yeah.
And That you're very right. Or all of a sudden Leicester aren't a team that you think, yeah, it's going good now, but your average age is 30 something or 29, and you've not got many coming through, and then you kind of hit the panic on the reserves and try and blood a youngster when they're not ready into the first team, which Leicester have been susceptible to doing before with a few youth players that we've seen make a debut and not heard of again. And so it's nice, and like you said, Leicester aren't just set for the next season or two. They're potentially, with the names you've thrown out, and there's probably more names that Brendan's got his eye on to bring up through next year.
And Tillemans, Maddison, none of them are particularly are old, are
no,
they?
they're not. Yeah, and our current squad isn't that old. You're right. Casper, Evans, and Vardy, all Brighton. From a mainstay 11, I know we've got Fuchs and Morgan and that. I'm not discrediting them and saying they're not still part of the team, but on a mainstay 11, they're if they weren't in the side, our average age I think is probably like 24 and a half, something ridiculous like that, and that is testament again to the backroom staff who have taken over the last couple of seasons taken a bit of slack off us fans. So again, credit all round for Leicester.
Brookline Chowdhury coming back next year. Well, he's got to come back, because if he doesn't come back, where will we all party? Jamie can't have his party. Yeah, Jamie can't have his party if Hamza doesn't have his homestead, does he? But Rob, it's nice to see you have signed on and you're watching us on YouTube. Sorry, this is jumping up and down like a bride on a wedding night. Here we go. I think I might have brought this up earlier. Man United want the scalp of Liverpool and knock them out the Champions League places. Of course they do. That's why we saw the team they put out today. Think Robbie's right. He's saying there. I've forgotten Tavares. Yes. Yep, old Heaven's Angel. He Chabola, Lazaro, Admiral, Youth Galore, and I can't pronounce his name, but Muswawi or whoever was on the subs bench today. Again, he's got on there over Tavares. He must have something that Brendan's seen him in.
Yeah, and isn't there that lad that we got from Thailand that was inducted in? He's got a really long last name. I don't want to butcher it or disrespect him, but he
wasn't the somebody's very rich. He's supposed to be the richest footballer. We let him go, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, but it's not him. Someone will know. He's been playing for the under-23s this season. This guy I'm on about. He's right, but he's been. I know. Condolences first of all to the under-23s. They unfortunately suffered a defeat yesterday and got relegated. It's a blip in what's been a very successful season all round for Leicester, because obviously the women won their league and will be joining the elite of the women's division next year. So who knows? Hopefully them lads can bounce back, get a good season in the lower division and mix in with the lads and be back up to the top level next season.
And sometimes it would help. It will actually, I believe, help them develop more, because if you go down, when we went down to League One, we had 4 or 5 seasons when we were goddamn awful. Do you know what I mean? We couldn't win a goldfish at a fair, and then we went down to League One. Okay, we got a good manager in Nigel Pearson, but we kept winning and winning and winning, and the confidence that gives you. And then when we came back up the next season, we only just missed out on the playoffs that first season back from, being in the division lower. So it will hopefully give these youngsters a lot of fun. But as Simon's just said there, they will bounce back, as I again, agreeing with basically what I was saying. But I'm going to throw a name at you here, and I want you to give me your thoughts on this guy, because this is a guy who fans love to hate. I've never heard anybody say anything nice about him, but the owners seem to like him. John Rudkin.
See, again, I see all this all this. Oh, it's Rudkin's fault. It's Rudkin this.
Yeah.
It's so and so. And I don't get it.
No,
Let's be honest with you. Let's be honest with you, right? It's easy to blame somebody who isn't in the spotlight. They're not on the. If you like the players and you like the manager, and something goes wrong with an acquisition that Leicester made, it's easy to blame the head that you can't see for what they do.
Yeah.
Short memories. You don't exactly know John Rudkin's full role unless you know John Rudkin personally. You do not know his role you don't know what he's doing on a day-to-day basis. 100% you do. You know the idea of his job, obviously, as his title suggests.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that's the only job he's got to do, and it doesn't mean he's the one that goes. Does everybody really think he turned around and went, oh well, we won't pay more than 40 million for Fofana, so that's the deal done? No, there's more than just one person involved in a deal, in a transfer. When they look at a player, it's a whole task of things. So I don't like this nonsense where one individual gets blamed for a transfer or a transfer that doesn't happen, because some transfers you hear about not happening weren't even happening to begin with. So I don't like the stick that our backroom staff gets.
At the end of the day, you've got John Rudkin, who has overseen the signing of James Justin from Luton, Fofana from St Etienne, Castagna from Atlanta.
But no one gives them praise when they make the good signings, do they? It's all well done, Leicester.
And I was actually speaking to an Everton fan a while ago, and about Steve Walsh, as in the coaching side, not the ex-player Steve Walsh, who obviously had a really good reputation when he was at Leicester as part of the Pearson Shakespeare trio. He then went to Everton. He wanted to be up north near his family, and credit to him for that. Family is important, and he went up to be close to them and worked with Sam Allardyce. And Everton said he never bought one good player for them. He said all the contacts that he must have had in the world of football, he must have left at Leicester. And it's true that you can have one person as a cog in a wheel and take them out of that cog, then they're not necessarily going to fit into a cog somewhere else, are they?
But that's what I mean by people not understanding that what an actual job that these sort of people do. Because the Everton fans might turn around and say, well, Steve Walsh never brought in a decent player. How do they not know that Steve Walsh went, Allardyce, here's a player, X, Y, Z, whatever. I think they'd be really good for the squad. He looks at them, his scouting team or whatever, look at him, bring the facts and all the figures for him, and he goes, okay, well, we're only willing to pay X amount because that's all we've got. And that club went, well, we're not going to sell him for that cheap. You've got to realise there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes on in that role, and it's a very demanding job. Just because he's not doing it at Everton or not as well as he was at Leicester doesn't mean he's still not a good man for the job. And just because we don't always have a successful signing at Leicester, that it doesn't take the world of light and isn't a £4 million steal worth 70 million, doesn't mean Rudkin is not good at his job. Because I tell you this now, them owners are businessmen. And if Rudkin was not good at his job, he would have been sacked. Yes,
indeed. Right. Moving on to the rest of the season now. I'm going to, and I know you're going to, Rob, you have such a nice way with words. You can hear my cog. I'm really sorry. That's my age. You shouldn't. You turn the volume down. I know you're going to turn around and say Man United didn't do this anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and I'm going to expect you to answer it anyway. But had they put their full strength team out tonight, do you think we would have still got the 3 points against them?
You don't know. Honest answer, you don't know.
I know you don't know. I'm asking
the way they played
to
in that
speculate.
Yeah. I think it would have been tougher, and I think the half-time score would have been, Leicester fans would have definitely been happier if that starting 11 had been, a an available Maguire and Luke Shaw in there and Fernandez and etc. and all them lot. And then I think, you'd have come in here like a lot of fans were. That, even United fans weren't expecting such a rotation. They were still expecting Fernandez to play. They were still expecting Rashford and Greenwood to play. I know Greenwood did play, but they were expecting maybe not to see the left and right wingers that they saw today. I think it would have been harder. I originally, like I said to you in the pre-match show, Chris, I make my predictions in my head before I know the lineups of either side, because I have to take it on form and where we are in the league, and not, because presumption is the mother of all mess ups, as it is. We could have gone here going, oh, well, Man U are going to
haven't you?
Yeah, I know. I meant to say assumption. You know what I meant. Shut up, I'm Jesus, and I'm a mistake. We could have gone on for Manchester United. It'd have been a very tough game. We'd have been happy with a draw. And I think I would have taken a draw against a fully strength United side. I'd have been happy with a point, because they are an incredible side, all things going, with the talent they've got going.
Tony says here, don't forget we beat them in the cup. Yeah, I was just speculating on this one, but Brookline says, Chris, do you drink more gin after a win or after a loss? I've got to be totally honest with you, Brookline. It really doesn't matter.
It's consistent either way.
Yes, I consistently drink a lot. I think that's the way to look about it. Rob, if this will come up for me here, hopefully this will give us some confidence going into the FA Cup final. Evans hopefully fit for the game. Well, I think that's why we didn't see him tonight. I think if he is the chance that he can play, I think they will play him. And if he has to go off, he has to go off, because that game is more important in looking at it now, possibly, than the Chelsea game after and the Tottenham game.
I think dependent, like you just said, I think dependent on results of the Liverpool Man U game and the West Ham game, I feel
and Arsenal, Chelsea. Don't forget Arsenal.
Yes, and Arsenal, Chelsea as well.
Melina, if you're still watching, give your team a kick up the old arse and get them to beat Chelsea. I said to Simpy's an Arsenal fan, as we said earlier, and I said to him earlier, no, come on, we need you to do us a favour and beat Chelsea. And he actually turned around as an Arsenal fan and went, no chance, it ain't going to happen. But come on, for once, can Arsenal do favour?
Insecurity for our top four spot, whether it's third or fourth in Chelsea, is a different thing.
Yeah,
I think Evans being selected all depends on that situation, because I would maybe even argue that you'd rather not risk Evans for the cup final, give him an extra few days to rest and recover, and not need to come off in the league game against Chelsea, and then it gives you a chance to give you a fresh centre back for the league game, because it's going to be very demanding. Whoever wins, whatever the result in the final, that occasion itself will drain a lot out of the players, because it's a very demanding situation mentally going into it. It's not the same as a league game mid-season, is it? 90 minutes. It's a whole different ball game at a final.
I think we will know, like you say, late before we kick off. Well, obviously before we kick off, we'll know whether he's playing or not. What I mean is, towards the end of the week, we'll know more when these other games have been played and where we stand. We've got the FA Cup, and we've got special shows for the FA Cup, so we're looking at that separately. But after that, we've then got Chelsea, unbelievably, literally about 3 days later in the league, and then we've got Spurs on the last day of the season. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Man United are playing in the Europa League final. That's on the 26th of May. That's after the end of the season. Why? And I suppose the argument could be, well, you've got the Champions League final, but, the FA Cup is the end of season finale. It's the finale to the season. You go out with a bang. It's always, why are we playing it and having to have a game midweek now, like we say, that extra game? Why aren't we playing it at the end of the season?
Honestly, purely because of the situation that we're in now with Corona and the lockdown, and the fact that the semi-finals under a small crowd, granted, but we're able to play in crowds. I think maybe there was a case of urgency to make sure that the FA Cup final, because the Champions League and Europa League aren't in our country. To my knowledge, nothing's been set in stone about the Champions League final. No. It's not in England. It's not guaranteed. The Europa League final
looking
isn't
like
in
Portugal, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, it is. Whereas right now, the FA Cup semi-final was the platform to start integrating fans back into the stadium. And I think that on the smallest, and I know people will say, don't say it, Brad, but I'm going to say it, so forget it. But on the smallest chance that something goes on over the next couple of months between now and the start of the season that stops things going back to normal in regards to fans going into the stadium, it's purely just to get them in the ground and make sure that there's an FA Cup final this year watched by fans. Because last year, it didn't feel right, did it, that FA Cup final?
No. And let's... Well, none of the games have really, have they? But let's ask this other question, because as stupid as we can say the FA are, UEFA seem to be even more stupid. I mean, they've decided that they're not going to play, and I'll just quickly touch on this. They're not going to play the Champions League final in Turkey. I think it was Turkey, wasn't it, where it was going to be?
I'm not sure, probably.
Yeah, wherever it is, they decided because of the COVID situation that they're not going to do it there. So let's have a look. Oh, there's 2 English teams here. Where should we go? Wembley? No, let's go to Portugal. I mean, what the WTF? You know, I mean, logic says Wembley's all set up with, you know, they've got all the TV facilities and everything there. It doesn't have to be shipped in. They're ready to go because they've got the final of the FA Cup. We're hosting some of the Euro games. Yes, I think there's another game that's due on that, but, you know, you can move things around. Has anybody got brains that runs football these days?
No, because there was a bunch of geniuses that thought money could take 6 clubs out of the Premier League, and look how that works. So there's no brains in the hierarchy of football when it comes to them lot.
You've got a good point there.
Anyone with one, anyone that's got a brain in the UEFA doesn't have enough. If the brain was made of dynamite, they wouldn't have enough to blow the nose. So no, you'd think that, wouldn't you? You'd think Wembley with 2 English sides would make sense, but no.
You see that you're using that word, you see, with UEFA in mind and football hierarchy, sense. You see, it just doesn't go together, does it? So this was going to be the first of 3 hard league games. As it happens, we've come away with 3 points. You know, I actually said I thought we'd get 7 points out of these 3 games because I said we'd beat Man United. Oh, did I tell you I predicted the right score as well on that? 2-1.
You nearly went a full 15 minutes without bringing it up, mate.
I think we'll beat Tottenham. And I think we'll actually could get a result, could get a point off Chelsea, depending which way the cup final goes. So 7 points for me from those 3 games. How many do you think? We've already got 3 in the bag. What do you think we will come away with?
Well, originally I said I think we'd get 4, because I said I thought we'd draw today. I think we'll win the FA Cup, but normally what happens with a team that wins the FA Cup, when you meet that team again so close after the final, you tend to lose it, don't you? So I thought we'd lose to Chelsea if that's how it goes, and we'd beat Spurs. Oh, I said 4 points is what we'd get. We've got 3. And not the way I expected. So I don't see why we can't get another 4 points from the remaining 2 games and get the 7 you're going for. I think it's very plausible for us to get 4 points out of. Oh, for God's sake. Can we end this now? Come on, he's getting a bit. Come on, we're going to have the whole screen with it in a minute. Pack it in, you. I'm joining next season. You have to include me on this. You have to get us all involved. Me, you, Craig, and Josh.
But you never let us know in advance.
You never ask. You see, you never ask. I have to join in next season. So a January transfer.
So you're going for 4 points.
Yeah. 4 points in the FA Cup final win. That's what I'm going for. To be exact.
Yeah. Brad, thank you very much, sir. Tomorrow night we've got a night off, so we can enjoy watching Chelsea Arsenal. Come on, Arsenal! I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but come on, Arsenal!
Yeah, and I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, United. I'll do the rest of the job.
Yes, in fairness, completely right. Yes, you got to say that. Right. We are back on. God, what day? We're Tuesday today. We're back on Thursday with the opposition view on the Chelsea game. We've got a couple of Chelsea fans coming on that. And then Friday at 7, and you're welcome to come and join us, Brad. It's the preview. And with it being the FA Cup, the more the merrier. Hopefully we'll have Steve Lynix and Julian Watts, ex-Foxes, on that one. So feel free to join us for that, Brad.
Yeah, I will do. If I'm not too busy, I'll always come on to a show if I'm needed as well. So I just look forward to it. I think we can spend from now until the day getting very excited about a trip to Wembley.
Well, can I just say I have my flags behind. I actually ordered, believe it or not, I ordered two flags from this company on eBay, and the delivery company that got it on the Wednesday and should have therefore been able to deliver it on the expected date of Friday didn't send it out until the following Friday, and I got it on the Saturday. So as I complained, he sent me those two more flags, a scarf, and then 2 huge flags, which will be flying outside my window on the match. So thanks, eBay. Thanks, eBay. And then, of course, the day after, typical, the original ones came through. So I've got those as well.
Bonus, isn't it?
Yeah. So let me just say this. Just take this in. Our next game is the FA Cup final.
It's a great feeling, isn't it? It's good to know. It just gets you, just a little bit excited.
It's got to be our turn, hasn't it?
I feel like a kid at Christmas Eve that can't go sleep. He's so excited for it, mate. That's going to be like. It's going to be. It's just. I would love it because it's my first ever experience of an FA Cup final. I know there's fans out there that have seen us come so close. I know, right? It's time for me nap. I need to go for me nap. I'm the young one of the group. Because I know there's people out there that remember the 69, maybe even remember the ones before that. Mm-hmm. So it'd just be nice to see us.
You never forget a 69, do you?
Well, no, you don't. Well, sometimes it depends what how it turns out.
And we did lose it, so it is easily forgettable. One more thing to do before you go, Brad, and we get cut off by YouTube. Just want to play this for you one more time.
Right, I tell you what, I'm going now because you're going to ruin the mood. I tell you what, I'll let you off because you didn't bring up the dreaded stats today. So bye. See ya. Before you have a chance to bring them up, I'll see you later, guys.
I haven't got them. I'm not going to put you through that, mate. Thanks so much, Brad. If I don't see you on Friday, I'm not sure what's happening with the post-match, because if we lose, we might be too pissed off to do it straight after. And to be honest with you, if we win, we might all be celebrating after and not want to come and do the show. So
why don't you let the fans decide? Why don't we get a poll going in the group or something and see if they decide if we should do it or not? Put us through it.
They might not give us the answer that I want, though.
Yeah, that may be the case. That may be the case.
Whatever made you think that this group was a democracy? It isn't. I am a dictator in this group.
Donald Trump, not me.
Brad, thanks very much, mate. We will talk again, no doubt, and I might see you on Richie's show later, mate.
Maybe my phone's going to die, so you might see me on at some point, but
I might hear you then. I might hear you. I don't know. Yeah. All the best. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you at some time over the FA Cup weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much. Take care.
Take care, mate.
All the best. Thanks. Oops. Thanks to Brad. I can't even. Honestly, I'm not just totally not with it. So, Manchester United 1, Leicester City 2. We are back up to third. I'm sure we're not going to stop there. Chelsea, obviously, just a point behind, but they have got that game in hand. Michael is saying, yes, let's have a chat show. I just got this feeling that tonight's going to be a good night. Well, it was, because we beat 2-1, which I predicted correctly, of course. Just thought I'd say that. I just got a feeling that if we do win, Michael, that we might all just want to celebrate, because we're going to be with family or friends that are Leicester fans. I'm sure whether we're allowed to with COVID, but you know what I mean. And I'm not sure if we do a show, whether there will be enough interest in it. I might put it out in the group, like I say, but depending how it goes, I might have drunk that much during the game that I come on here and you won't be able to understand a word I'm saying. And before you say anything, last night when it was like that, it was only because it was a bad microphone. David Gamble says, hello, Christmas. Okay, hello, Christmas. I'm not sure what you mean on that. Guys, thank you very much. It's a great night. It's been really good, hasn't it? And we've come away with 3 points. We're back in the top 3, 66 points. We are so close to the Champions League, we can taste it. And I'll tell you what as well, we got the FA Cup on Saturday night. Yeah, I'm not going to burst into Saturday night. Well, maybe. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow night. Hopefully join me 7:00 for the Opposition View show, when we'll be talking to a couple of Chelsea fans about the FA Cup. No, not tomorrow night, Thursday night. And we're hoping we can wind them up and that Arsenal have beat them. I don't think Simpy and Molina are still in. If they are, as I say, give your team a kick up the arse, get them to beat Arsenal in the London derby on Thursday 4th. Take care, guys. All the best now. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.